Hi, guys.
Welcome back. It's reported live from our studio. And remember, these episodes are always sponsored by us, the Migas.
By ourselves.
So if you're listening and you would like to sponsor us, we are open to that as well.
Yes.
We are welcoming and elevating all the positive things.
Yes.
2024. And this season has been amazing so far.
So far, yeah.
Right.
We doing our thing. We doing our thing, you know. Sitting here, like just
in the sala.
In the sala.
Oh, I love the sneakers.
Thanks. Do you know
so
they were
cute.
$20?
What?
$20.
I was like, hold on, let me show them in the camera.
$20 at.
If you're watching us, make sure to watch sneakers
at Foot Action, and and this was like years ago, like when American Dream just opened.
Whoa.
Yeah, so Foot Action had like a sale, and this was Berto he was like, I got him this color, and I got him with the black swoosh. Nice. And he's like, these are just so nice. And he asked me all the time.
And they're so you. I love it.
And he goes, where are the Nike sneakers that you had bought? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, the ones I got you, the two that I got you. Why do you keep wearing these ugly ass sneakers? And I'm like, they're not ugly. And he's like, yes, they are. Where are the other ones? And I'm like, okay. Well, anyways.
No, this is perfect. And I love it goes with the entire,
you know.
It just pops. I love it.
With my Temu fit over here. My Temu shirt and headbands.
Temu sponsor us.
Right, seriously. Come on, Temu. But yeah, let's get into this episode. But first, let's talk about our Galentines.
Yes, we got some matcha tea on the Galentines. It was our first one ever.
Yep.
So freaking cool.
Yep. And we had it at Carpaccio's at American Dream.
American Dream.
Roberto, thank you so much for always.
Thank you. Being so accommodating.
Yes. And
so sweet.
You know, like he gave, if you guys were there, he gave us like our desserts and stuff like that.
Very nice. Yes. Which was I was not expecting, honestly, anything. So always beautiful to see the love, the unwavering, unconditional love that we are building for our community. And he is part of that.
He's part of the Migas family.
Migas family. And he's just also, again, always so receiving, always so welcoming. And sure, yeah, you guys want to do that. And a very good person to work with. Yes,
very professional. And he is very transparent, which I find so refreshing, because when we were trying to come up with something, he was responsive with us, like told us, like, you know, this is what I can do, this is what I can offer, and then some, and then kind of told us, like, you know, the back end and how he would like to partner up with us. So you will see more of the Migas podcast at Carpaccio's because the food is amazing, the service is amazing. Just the ambiance, it's very inside is like very moody New York vibe. But then when you're out on like the terrace or whatever, it's like, oh, I'm outside in Europe. Like,
yes. It doesn't,
I'm in Italy.
You're transported.
Yes.
You're not in New Jersey. You're not a dirty Jersey anymore. And especially I feel like that area, the industrial.
Yes.
Like, you know, you just came from Newark Airport.
Yeah. Like, you're like, meh.
Like, this is Jersey. So Jersey has a lot to offer. Northern Jersey, because I know the South is beautiful and all that stuff.
I feel like South Jersey is not really Jersey though. Like, they're just like.
Well, it defines the Garden State. Yes. So I was like, why is New Jersey the Garden State? Like
do you see factories all up in here?
We live in the urban.
Do you smell here? Like, do you smell what's outside here?
It doesn't smell like a garden.
No, it does not. A wasteland, maybe.
But South Jersey, Central Jersey, even though people from Central Jersey do not like it to be called Central Jersey.
Then what do they want?
The North.
Yeah,
like, there's no North and South. There's North, Central, South.
Kidding.
Okay? Yes. We said it here on the Migas.
So going to Governor Murphy, like, sir, define it for the people all the way in the back. Like,
we want to thank also all the women that came out. It was a pleasant surprise for me to see some of my Army girls that showed up. Like, these were the girls that I was bunking it up in good old dusty, sandy Iraq during our deployment. And I deployed back in 2008 through 2009. And after that, we would kind of like see each other often. But then, you know, life be lifing. And we just got busy. And I was like, oh my God, when was the last time that I saw these girls? It was literally 2019.
So pre-pandemic.
So this goes again to show the power of social media. So another girl from the same group we've been following each other because those two girls that I haven't seen in forever, they're not really active on social media like that. So it was nice to see again us being persistent and posting and posting and posting and posting. All of a sudden, Maria was like, "We're going."
Yeah.
And I remember she bought a bunch of tickets, but I didn't ask her
who you're bringing.
I was like, "Who are you bringing?" You know, I just figured, oh, maybe her mom, her sister, whatever. So it was so nice to see them, and it's just a nice reminder of, you know, when you build those strong relationships that no matter how many years go by. And it's always the same constant thing with these girls. They're twins, by the way, fun fact. And they both served in the military. And they're also going to start their business soon, which I'm excited to share here on the podcast when that happens. And they were just like, "Cindy, we love you." And I'm like, "I love you guys." Like, there's no harsh, like, bitches, like, what the fuck? You were lost in the sauce. Like, we already know. Like, that is just their MO. Like, they just get lost in the sauce and they come back like, "Hey."
Yeah.
So we're always, I guess, supportive of each other in that way, to the point that, like, they haven't even met Caleb. You know, I haven't seen, like, one of them has a daughter. I haven't seen that daughter in forever. Now she looks like a triplet of theirs. So it was so nice to
women.
Yes, to girls, women, you know, a girl's girl. But it was just so nice to see that gathering. And then, you know, a couple of my high school friends came out, and then other friends that we've been building through the community. So again, thank you guys for the, again, unconditional support, for showing up. And even those girls that aren't showing up, like, physically, they're showing up for us online through liking, sharing, commenting, engaging, listening to us, sharing, you know, what the Migas here, what we talk about with their communities. And that's so important. And that's so beautiful to see. Even one of the girls that I met at the flower workshop that I went to, she posted that. She was like, "This is so nice to see a community of women supporting each other."
Yeah.
Because we always talk about it. Like, sometimes it's easy to say it, but it's so hard to actually
do it,
obtain and maintain. So,
but yeah,
I'm proud of us.
Me too. Me too. It was a nice and lovely event.
Sunday brunch time.
And speaking of love, this whole episode is about our love languages.
Yes.
Because that's important. Like, I always make fun of this. I'm always like, "What's your love language?" Like that, you know, but
now you're serious about it.
Yeah, but it's I'm on fence. I'm learning. I'm learning.
And I even said it, like, on my story on the ride here. I was just like, I feel like it's been a topic that we're always kind of like talking about
and like brushing it
and like brushing it off. Like, "Hey, we'll get to it. So I'm happy we're getting
Yes, because we figured it is love month, and you're just gonna get us from now on to the end of the season.
That's right. Yes, we have wrapped up our guest. I mean,
our guest portion. Maybe we'll have a surprise one.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. So, what is a love language? In the description, we are going to post where we obtained our information.
And it's so nice too. I love that. It's a beautiful, very aesthetically pleasing chart.
So there are 5 love languages, and it's words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. So we took some time to think about what our love languages are. And also we want to talk about our kids' love languages, because kiddos have them too. And it's the same exact ones, but they evolve as you evolve, but the actual concept stays the same. So that's very fascinating to think about. And we have between us 4 cherubs. So Cindy, what's your love language? You can have more than one.
Yes.
So
ooh, I'm on the spot. I'm in the hot seat.
Yes, please take your mic.
Hello.
Shit, my mic is over there. I'm not even writing on this. Anyways, go ahead.
But I see it.
Yeah.
First of all, I wanted to ask you, what does it say? What's the textbook definition of acts of service?
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of on the fence with the definition of that, like what it truly means, because I think everything else I kind of understand, but I'm not really understanding the acts of service.
So I'm gonna do, well, a lot of these are 5 love languages and how to connect with your partner, because there actually is a book about the love languages, you know. So acts of service, this is going to be pertaining to your partner. Run an errand for your partner, cook a meal, complete a household chore. Gifts is like give thoughtful and meaningful gifts of any size without an occasion. So no anniversary, not like Valentine's Day, like just out of nowhere. Physical touch, you know, hug, kiss, hold hands, back that ass.
Back that ass.
Right? Seriously. Quality time, give your partner undivided attention via exclusive time together, which I find this time is very hard, especially when you're out and you have the intention to do that, but you're on like your phone, you know, but we working.
Yes.
And then words of affirmation, offer verbal compliments and words of appreciation.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the definition, y'all.
So I believe that
you can fly.
All I believe I can fly. Okay, we're never going to get through this episode. So I resonate with all of them minus physical touch. If you're watching, did you just see what Nora thinks? He knows. And if you're listening, please take a chance and watch us on YouTube so you can see all this physical like banter and all the stuff, all the
she keeps trying to touch
language.
Me, but then she doesn't like to be touched.
Rude. I know. So I guess I'll start with that one, the one that's kind of like an ick for me. And
cringe.
Yeah. I don't even, honestly, I can't like pinpoint like when it started or why. I guess just like also, I mean, I'll go to childhood, especially that we're going to eventually talk about our kiddos' love languages. I don't remember there being, I guess, much physical touch and like affection when I was younger. Like I knew obviously like my parents loved me and they loved me through acts of service. So, and gifts, and I guess acts of service, I should say, not gifts are probably like the third one, maybe acts of service.
Like doing
what
stuff.
Was the quality time for sure.
Time,
and then gifts. I feel like those were probably like the big 3 growing up. And then now into my adulthood, definitely like with my parents has been like how the way they've been filling my bucket is through words of affirmation. So I guess I'll like talk about it like that, like in stages. And I feel like it'll help me then now confirm like what is my current like love languages and what that looks like. So for me, words of affirmation, for sure. I love that. My parents every morning, they read their like prayer books. And along with that, I think my dad has like 3 to 4 pamphlets of different things, like the daily word, the affirmation, the prayer. So I love that. And then to the point that I'm like, can you please like voice record this and send it to me? Sometimes he'll just send a picture, but I was like, I want to hear your voice. So I think that, and in a sense, I guess that's within itself, it's quality time. Because I also realize that like I enjoy quality time and like true quality time. If there is phones, then we're either like making a video, a fun video together. Like you can still incorporate the phones that have been a device of like the devil to turn it into a positive way like that, like making fun videos, or like haven't gotten to the level of TikTok dances and things like that. But I know, for instance, like with my sister, she enjoys that, like with the girls.
Yeah.
But with my mom, like her and I, like I know, like if please take a picture of me.
Yes.
Please that. So that's a positive way to use your phone within your love languages. Acts of service for sure. So are we talking about how we like to receive it or how we like to give? I guess, or both?
We're doing the receiving. So what is our love language?
Okay, got
we
it.
Can't talk about like what do we exert?
How do we think
express
we give
our love language? Yeah.
Because that's another thing. We think we're giving it that way, but then what if that's not the person's love language?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
This is we're here. We're navigating through this conversation. So quality time for sure for me, and that quality time, and I'll talk about it like especially like with my husband. And I've even had brought it up. Like it's okay. Sometimes I get it. Sometimes we could just literally sit there in silence watching a movie, but we're both watching the same thing. We're both like, oh my God, did you see that happening? That's crazy. But then sometimes I like modern society, we're both on our phones watching the movie.
The movie's watching you.
Right. But I'm like, I'm paying attention. And sometimes he's like, are you paying attention? Like he'll hold me accountable. And then sometimes I'll do the same thing back. So that's something we're working on. But for sure, that quality time, you know, taking, again, like trips together, or even like going out to eat together, and making sure like that, putting that intention of having conversation, even if we have a conversation for like 5 minutes, but we know we spoke about something important. For instance, for example, we went out last night for an impromptu like happy hour, and we spoke about things that we needed to talk about, you know, and that was maybe like a 5-minute serious conversation, and the rest of the conversation involved Caleb. You know, we were just chatting about Caleb on there. You're doing it a quick intermission if you're wondering where she went. If you're wondering where she went from the camera, you can't physically see her leaving if you're just listening, but she's back. I love it. Yeah. We forgot to.
Yeah, and I was like, no, the sound seems a little off. Sorry, guys.
Yes, so definitely
actually,
quality time.
I'm not sorry. I'm making this nice for you.
So definitely the quality time. Acts of service for sure. I enjoy obviously getting a meal cooked for me. Like Calvin is always like putting little snacks together for me when I request them late at night. So that's always nice. And I remember like early in our dating time, when we would hang out more so at his parents' house, there'll be times that we'll be hanging out in his basement. And I'm like, can you please get me a cup of water? Because I wasn't 100%, even though like his parents knew me, but they didn't really know like that we were dating or that we were more than friends. So I was like, can you please get me a cup of water? Because something would be like in the middle of the night, and he'll get up from his sleep and go. So I was just like, oh wow, like that's really nice. Like, that like filled my cup. And
literally and figuratively.
Receiving gifts 100%, absolutely, especially like if I knew that you were paying attention. For instance, my mom, when she got me the flat iron for Christmas, I was like, oh, this is freaking amazing. I was like, were you watching my stories? I did request this like on my story. She was like, no. I'm like, I know you probably watched the first 2 seconds and you fucking skip it. I was like, noted. But I did request this live on Instagram. And I was like, you took notes. That's what it is, taking notes with receiving gifts. But I'm also, of course, open to receiving random things that I wasn't wanting, you know, or you thought, or that's another thing too. This looked like you, so I got it. You know, things like that.
This reminded me of you. Like, I love that.
Yes. Yeah. And now with me posting all these cups and shit that I like, there's been a lot of friends, and I'm like, I love this. Like, you know, they're not physically giving me something, but they send me something on Instagram, thought of you. You know, so that's, I feel like, so nice. And again, another positive way to use social media. And financially, if you can't physically give a gift, I think that's also a gift. Sharing a good reel or a good recipe
or something,
or cup, clear cup.
I actually got one of my friends sent me this fun like book like shelf, and it made the books look like they were upside down or something. And she's like, oh my god, my books are upside down. And she sent me the thing, and she goes, I thought that you would enjoy this. And I'm like, that's so cute. I really like that. And now that I'm in my Nora the Builder stage, I might build it. Who knows?
So that fits into receiving gifts.
Yeah, right? we'll get into that.
Like monetary, as far as like somebody's sharing something with
correct.
You
yeah, right? That's definitely, or a gift of knowledge, or just something like that, like something that they're telling you that you didn't know. You know, sharing like something that, like, for example, when I have moms ask me about the whole autism journey, like that's my gift to them. Like, I'm sharing the knowledge that I spent time researching and like paying it forward. Like, maybe you can get that. You know what I'm saying?
I love
like,
that. But and this is what I love about us, because when we have these conversations like this, all these light bulbs that just spark. So I'm glad it's being recorded, because we can always go back and refer it, because there ain't no way I could rewind this brain back to know what the F we just said. That's why sometimes I like voice text it, because it's just like, I feel like it gets embedded a little bit deeper into my brain cells for me to remember later on.
And you know what else is an act of like a love language? Like, for example, for the acts of service, like I had a friend, well, she's still my friend. She's actually more like a sister. And she was having a really hard time. And I said, listen, I don't want to sound out of place or out of, you know, whatever, But here is the NP that I used to help get me on medication. She is, she has her stuff in psychiatry and stuff like that. And you can reach out. And she reached out to her and she sent me a message and she said, thank you so much for this referral because I feel like myself again. Aww. And I was like, delicious. You are welcome. You are welcome.
I love that. Like, so at the same time you filled her cup, you filled yours.
Oh, hell yeah. I was just like, look at me. Referring drugs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Instead of a drug dealer,
medication.
I'm a mental health dealer.
You're a pharmacist. You're a mental pharmacist.
A mental pharmacist.
Not a street pharmacist.
No. Oh man.
So now, Miss Nora.
Yes.
What are your love languages and what does that look like for you? And again, let's also, I guess, start from your childhood and then how that has evolved. And I know that's, I was like, I know it's it's like,
yeah.
So, but it's important.
Yeah. So for me, the way that I express my love languages is acts of service because I am a chronic people pleaser, but depending on what it is, it really makes me feel good. And I'm also an executive assistant. So if I didn't have acts of service in my love language, I should have never gotten that job.
But it's aligning with your passion.
Yes. I am a gift giver. I swear, if I was rich, I would give
Oprah.
Oh my God. Everybody would have everything. But like, if you know me, I'm very generous with like, say like with the kids stuff or like they're not using it or whatever. I'm always like, oh, like Ollie out through this or like, and I have bags. Like I've sent bins to DR. I've said like, I'm just like, just take it. And it was like, you could sell it. I'm like, no, someone needs it. But now I'm on my Facebook market grind. So I'm sorry. If it's expensive, I'm picking and choosing. I'm picking and choosing. But like clothes, I will not sell them. I will just give them away. That's just how I am. Do not touch me. Don't touch me. Like I can. I'm like, I'm a hugger. Like I can hug or whatever, but I'm not one. Like it's so crazy because my husband's love language is physical touch, and I'm always like,
let's put a poll. We're gonna put a poll. I think most men's love language
is physical touch.
Touch.
I mean, they always want to touch that ass. So, hello.
No, and sex.
Clearly.
Let's be real. Like that is
do you see?
That is I get it.
They put a ring on it for a reason. Come on, guys. Quality time. I mean, I like time with myself, to be honest, because I grew up in a house that always had people. We never had just our family time. And if we went on vacation, it was like my aunt and her kids were with us, or we went to Morocco and it's like my dad and his sisters and kids and her, like it was never
like
just
us.
Exactly. Group. So for me, I never had my own room growing up. Like, so when I finally got like peace and quiet and got a taste of it at the tender age of like 27, I was like, this is fucking fabulous. Like, I want to spend quality time with me and all the voices in my head. So I think I think we're
You're still not alone.
I'm still not alone. So there's that. Words of affirmation used to be my love language, but I'm at a point where it's like, because it's like, as a mom, you're like, you're doing a good job. And you're like, no fucking shit. I'm trying to keep these kids alive.
Right.
But those at work, yes, the words of affirmation I'm like, okay, so I am doing my job. Like, there's not going to be no surprise. Like, hello, you didn't do this right. But I guess like with me, and like when Berto tells me like, oh babe, like, you're like, he sent me a text message yesterday. Just want to let you know that I love you. And it's amazing. Like when they're sporadic and they're not like consistent, like every single day, I'm like, okay, like I can fuck with that. But if it's every single day, like you're an incredible mother, you're an incredible wife. I'm like,
or maybe how about words of affirmation, like with more substance, like something that's like a little deeper, because I feel like those are just very broad.
Very broad.
That's why for me, like I like deep, like words of affirmation. Like I'm strong, I'm cute, but I was like, I want deeper, and like what, like for instance, like what my dad eats every day. Like don't go
that,
in.
I would love
that. It makes you like turn, like, because like for instance, he read something the other day. And it was about, and I think I shared it with you. I know I spoke about it, I think on my takeover on the Migas. and I couldn't fucking get my words out. And I was like, I just want to read the expert to you.
You're like, hold on, let me get Dad on here.
I know, right? Like, can he just come and do it out, or I'll play the voice note and translate it? Because it stuck so much, because it made me like, it was kind of an aha moment, but also reassuring as well, because I had already processed it this way a while ago. So I gave a really large gift to someone, and then a couple of, I guess, weeks later, they go and buy the same thing. So I was like, okay. And then I was like, how do I feel about this? And at first I was like, damn, did I just give my gift to the wrong person? Or should like, what's the lesson here? And I forgot what it was that my dad read, but it's pretty much like, okay, at the end of the day, that's between them and God.
Yes.
So then that's when I started using that more, and it has brought me peace. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like deeper words of affirmation definitely are a thing for me. Like I need a little bit more like, what is it? Meat and potatoes, meat and papas. I need that. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know how much I love podcasts. So when I listen to those and when they drop gems, I'm literally that person in my car at my desk. Like, no, I'm like, yes.
Because it resonates.
Yeah, and it resonates. So yeah, I guess words of affirmation, when they hit a specific level that I understand and it resonates with just what I'm going through at that time. That's why I read The Alchemist once a year, because it speaks to me differently every single year. So if you haven't read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, do that. And it's a fascinating story of how that story even became popular. It's been translated. I think it's like, besides the Bible, it's like the most translated work of literature in so many different languages, because it's just, it's so amazing. I listened to it actually on Audible, and the person that they got to read it, the voice and everything, I'm like, that's exactly what I thought it would sound like. But I'm on my like 9th year of listening to it, and I'm like, this is incredible. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
I need to get on. I don't think I've
it's
ever.
So good. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and he is great. Very Brazilian guy. He's a Brazilian writer. Very, very like down to earth.
I've always seen like his quotes on Instagram.
Yeah, because
does it come from the book or no?
Some of them, because he has so many. He has so many books. Okay. So yeah. All right. So that's how. What is it? That's how I show my love language. And then for me, the love language to receive, I mean, I would like acts of service, but then again, I am a person that I'm like, you did it wrong.
That's that type A.
I'm like, you did it, but you did it wrong. Like, you know. But no, acts of service would be nice. And it would also be something that the more consistent it's consistent act of service, because then I would get used to it and kind of like throw my hands up and be like, okay, it is what it is. At least you're helping me, and that's it. You know, gifts, books. Give me all the damn books.
Well, your current, we're talking about current love language.
Gifts. I do love them, especially when they're random. But if they're so random that I'm like, do you know me? Like. I'm sorry, did we meet yesterday? But most of the people in my life, like this one time Alberto wanted to buy me a gift, and he did not know what to get me. And he's the type that he just doesn't get me anything to get it. He has to call me and be like, do you like this? Because he knows how I am. I'm not going to just keep something and not use it. I'm going to be like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Look, this is not really me. So he went to the store to get me a bag. And the lady is like, oh, where's your wife from? And he's like, oh, she's American. And he's like, what's her background? She's Spanish. And he's like, no, she's Moroccan. So she went on this freaking bougie ass trip. And he's like, you don't know my wife at all. Like, you know, she's not like this.
Thanks for trying.
And he showed me stuff, and he's like, I don't think she's gonna like that. I don't think she's gonna like that. And he would send me a picture like, what do you think? And I'm like, no. He spotted this one purse, and I love this. It's my favorite purse. It's a mustard yellow Tory Burch bag, and he hates that color, but knows how much I love it. And he bought me that bag because he's like, it was the only one. He's like, I saw it from across the store, and I was like, that's it. And I'm like, see, you know me, like you know me so well. And then I do tell him like, this is my current perfume that I like. It's almost done. Get it.
Wink, wink.
And I'm like, you can get it at Ulta.
But no, unfortunately, sometimes we have to be like that specific
Yeah.
with things. So I get that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that
Yeah.
either. But going back to being type A for acts of service, because I'm only gonna tell you these, because that's how I was. And honestly, like motherhood completely like threw me off the fucking wagon.
Yeah.
Even like I said, my sister has said multiple times, she's like, I'm really surprised. Like, because I guess she pictured me being a mother this certain way. And now I'm like, nah, because and that goes to show that you can sit there and want to be a specific way or this or that, but you just sometimes gotta go with the flow of life. And I'm like, these people want to help me. Even though it's not how I want to be helped right now. But I was like, I'm just going to accept it and then roll with the freaking punches. And then through that rolling with the punches, like, okay. And then from there, then I'll learn. Then I've been learning my boundaries. Like, okay, yeah, that was good, but let's try it this way next time.
Yeah.
And again, just communicating that way and then be like, you're fucking doing it wrong. Because that's how I was before too. And doing it like with an attitude to the point that people are like, I don't want to fucking help you then. Like, if you're going to be like that, then fucking go struggle on your own.
So I'll tell you, like with my parents, when they, I mean, you know this, like when my kids go to stay with my parents, like I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to make it as easy as possible. So like in the backpack, I have like little bags with their names on it. And I literally label everything and put it there. My mom throws caution to the wind and she's like, I can't fucking read. So we're just going to do that. And I'm like, ma'am, yes, you can. And you're just like, and in my head, I'm like, is she purposely doing this? Or she's oblivious, like just not paying attention. So like, I'll go and it's like, Zoe is wearing Alina's pajamas and then Alina's wearing Oliver's and then Oliver has Alina's tights on. I'm like, what the actual hell is happening? But that used to bother me so much. But at this point, I'm like, I just had a whole weekend without my kids. And I sat down, I relaxed, I read a book, I drank my wine. Like I fell asleep till 10. Like I could do, and if this is what I'm getting, I don't care. Because when we go back home where I have control, I'm okay with that. So at least I did that. But there's other things I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. I'm not going to budge. Like it is what it is. Like
what's one thing if you want to share? If you're okay with sharing.
Okay.
Just one thing.
All right.
So I want to hear.
I literally I'm Monica Geller. When Berto tries to make the bed, I just look and I'm like, what the fuck is this? No.
Well, that I know
I'm
like
no.
bed making is like your thing.
Yeah, I'm
so
like, no. It makes it look like it's and when I make it and then all of a sudden Ollie decides to build a pillow for it, I want to punt him across the street. I'm like, I just fixed this. Are you fucking nuts? And then the kids' rooms. That is a non-negotiable for me. The way I design it is the way that it's going to be. And if Ollie tells me like, I want to put, that's nice. Pay rent. And you can put as many posters as you want. Like, but as right now, the image that I have in my head and my control issues, puppy, this is your room. It's so much fun. You look at all of the monster trucks mommy got you and just don't touch them.
This kind of reminds me of like our Motherhood Win episodes. Yeah. It's like that controlling thing with the outfit.
Oh yeah.
No, and then now how she's like,
no,
again, it's taken, that was years of work. So we'll revisit this in 5 years.
We did so we worked on the Legos because he's really good at Legos. We bought him a Minecraft one that's like 7 and up, and my son's 6. And he put it together, whatever. And I literally sat there and I'm like, don't touch it. It's for display. Put it up there. So I use my quality time love language, my gift giving love language. What else did I do?
Your fucking buckets.
I did my word of affirmation love language. You did so good. Yeah. I put it so high up. I don't even know how this spider monkey got there. And I could hear it. I was sitting in the living room and I was like, this mother son of a gun. I was like, he went up there and he got it. I know he got it.
Take it apart.
He brought it down and he was like, I'm playing Minecraft. And I was like, you're not getting it. Because it like, I was like, no, you're not ready. You're like his maturity to put it together.
Right.
Great. But he's not. Yeah. And I'm like, nope. And he wants these nice ones that I know he can complete. But I'm like, dude, they're like $80.
Yeah.
Are you fucking nuts?
Yeah.
And then what? You're going to put them in a box? Oh, that's going to get lost? What? It's like trying to find a fly on an elephant's ass. Like, I'm never going to find these pieces. So they all went in the trash.
Oh, damn.
And by trash, it's just the Lego trash that he can play with whenever he wants to, but I have to also be careful Because have you stepped on a Lego?
Yeah.
He's the fucking
No, and that reminds me when we went to Legoland, New York last summer, we went with Kelvin, and I knew like when we got to the gift shop, it was like no freaking limit. And I told him, I was like, just get him one thing and pay attention. Just get him the Duplo Legos. Yeah, I was like, that's what he's working with now. And I was like, those are manageable. Those in my brain work in our household. Those are not gonna trigger me or make me fucking make me Nora. So he bought him two. So it was the fire truck Duplo thing, and then it was like this cool like Lamborghini one. And I'm glad I got to these boxes before they were handed over to Mr. Caleb, because I was like, babe, that one's great. This one, I was like, this, and it says like a 7+ or whatever. I was like, he was like, oh, I read it like something that it had like 7 pieces. Oh, I'm like, no, honey. I was like, it had
7 billion pieces.
It has like 100+ or whatever. So I was like, we're gonna take this box, and I was like, I'm gonna put it up high in the cabinet, and we're gonna forget about it until he's like 8. Yeah.
But with Caleb's self, he's gonna be like 4, and he's like, mother, no, bring down those Legos.
No, he's in the phase that he wants to build it and then freaking destroy.
He's in the Ollie age.
So I'm like, yep. When I see that you're ready again, and these are ways to avoid like these fucking breakdowns in our head. And again, this is aligning with me just kind of going with the flow. And I was like, okay, what can I control? What I can control right now is like what he actually gets and can play with. Yes. And I was like, and I can control what he can't. And then that's why I told you I took like all the Hot Wheels stuff the other day and just put them all in like trash bags in the garage in the meantime. And even Calvin the other day when he went, he was like, there's 3 bags. I was like, yeah, because those are all the small things. I was like, right now I can manage like the little people, like toys and all that stuff. And still, little Hot Wheels have been trickling in, you know, from getting gifted. And then I forgot where we went the other day. He was like, can I get that pack of Hot Wheels? And I'm like, fine. So, and I'm just like when I see like them amounting, then I'm like, okay, this is gonna. I was like, I'm gonna leave 5 out. But then now the kid, I think it's like photographic memory at this point, because if he left a certain car, like sometimes it's in between like the things. They know. He was like, I have my black police car, the Hot Wheels one. And then I have my ambulance. That one's not Hot Wheels because he knows like the difference because he sees like the logo at the bottom. And I'm just like, that's why sometimes when he leaves in the morning, because that's his thing in the morning, he needs to sit there and make all these scenarios with whatever random cars there are. I was like, if I clean these up, there's gonna be a problem later. Yeah. So I was like, it's bothering me right now, all these cars like this, but I rather not ignore it tantrum and avoid a breakdown later. And sometimes he'll come home and then like ignore the cars and then I'll go. Yeah. And you're like, oh, you didn't want them? Great. Right. But again, I feel like working, and that this is all part of, you know, love languages of how to avoid not filling your cup with things, and like things again that are, like you said, you're in control of your four walls when you're home. After that, like, you know, if your kid goes over to a family member, whoever, just know they're going to take care of them the way that they in their way. And that's another thing I've learned to accept very early, especially again with the outfits and all this stuff.
I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. Yeah. And my mom loves getting them outfits. They don't fit the look that I want. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Did I need 10,000 Peppa Pig shirts? No, I did not. But thank you. Thank you so much.
I know.
And most of the time I just leave them at her house. I'm like, well, why don't you, I always do that. You know, why don't you leave them here so I don't have to pack them to bring it over there?
Yeah. And that's what's smart. Those are ways to navigate, you know, not saying no or sounding like ungrateful, you know, because then sometimes they're like, well, the fuck, anytime I buy something, because my mom has sat there and said that back to me. So now I'm like, this is beautiful. Yeah. Because I was like, I don't want you to stop buying me random things. Yeah. I was like, thank you for this love language. I'll figure out how to use it. I was just like, it doesn't really fit my vibe now. But you never know.
Now, speaking of our little kiddos, what is Mr. Caleb's love language that you feel, you know?
Okay. So, like that he likes to receive or he gives?
No, that he likes to. We're going to talk about what they're receiving.
What they're receiving?
Yeah.
So I think for sure with him is quality time. You know, I feel like they're in the age where we are their world. Yes. Even though sometimes I'm like, I just want 5 minutes to myself. Like, why are these certain 5 minutes? You need them. Like you need my 5 minutes right now.
Your own.
I know, right? And so I've been paying attention more to that. You know, sitting down with him on the floor. If he's there with his cars, I'm like, oh, what's going on with this team right here? And he's like, oh, so this is going on, you know. And I see his little face light up when he's explaining like his whole little scenario. And he also enjoys like, you know, like adventure. We're going on an adventure. Like that's what we did yesterday. I was like, we're gonna go on 2 adventures today. And that adventure was one to a restaurant and one to Costco.
That's an adventure.
You know, and he was like, even like when we pulled up to Costco, he was like, we got to shop, right? And I was just like, I don't think so. I was like, let me know. Like, what do you see? He was like, Costco. It's so bad that he knows the names of all these places. So definitely that. And of course, you know, randomly surprising him to take him to these places. Like I learned also from you to not tell them in advance, like where we're going.
Yes.
Even though sometimes it's like, I don't want to tell them. Because I remember one time, I think a couple times, actually, like Calvin has done it with my dad. And I'm like, shh.
Yeah, don't say it.
I'm the one that's going to hear it for like 3 days or whatever. So we just kind of, for instance, like this weekend, the little gym is having their dance party. But it's at 7:00. It's on a Saturday. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to attend, just depending. I'm going to
feel the day,
feel his vibe. But I was like, I'm not gonna tell him. I was like, as much as I want to be like, oh my God, there's a Valentine's Day dance party. I do tell him like with school events. Like I was like, oh, next week is your Valentine's party, and he's like, yeah, but that's because they talk about it every day in school. I'm like, the teachers can deal with that shit. I don't. So, and then another one for him is definitely he loves to receive gifts, and I would say, I guess, like acts of service for children.
It says cook their favorite meals, bring them a drink of water, leave a supportive note or joke in their lunch bag, occasionally help them clean up or alleviate a chore, give a foot massage, manicure or pedicure, and make a playlist of songs for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do have a playlist for him because sometimes he's like, I want to hear this song. And like, I don't have time to sit there and like search it, especially, you know, we're driving. And he has like a little speaker in his room. So I guess, so acts of service. Receiving for sure for him.
I should put a speaker in Alina's room.
Yeah, have like the Google Home. I'm like, okay, Google. And then sometimes now he now says, okay, Google, I want to listen to it.
Okay. Yeah, because Alina's constantly coming up to me and being like, play the Barbie song, play the Spider-Man song, play the Spider-Man song, play the vampire.
And then you can give her some independence.
Yes.
And
I'm doing that. I have little Miss Alexa right over here. Are you about to go
That's perfect. And then do you want to talk about like what he likes to give, like love languages that he gives?
Yeah. His
is definitely acts of service.
Yeah.
The other day, like cleaning, and it's not consistent, but I am paying attention to it so it can become consistent, like feeding into that, like supporting that. Because he always wants to help in the kitchen.
Baby, yes, vacuum, and it couldn't be the fake vacuum.
I had to do the real one, like the heavy duty, like and ways of time for infant life. But he's always been very helpful, and I always joke, oh, that's pandemic baby, but I just think that's just in his DNA. For instance, like even last week, my brother-in-law picked him up, and he was like, yeah, Caleb said that he wants to go down to the basement to mop. So he was like, okay, like I'm glad that everyone is letting him do these things and not be like, no, you can't do that, you're too little. Like they're not shutting it down. So I think that's also an important thing with our children's love languages, to lean into it as much as sometimes it could get annoying or tedious, just like lean and having that patience. Because sometimes obviously when a child is helping you do a task, it's going to take like 10 hours longer than expected.
Yes.
Because even, what was it, on Sunday, like when we had our Valentine's brunch, he was telling me that day, he was like, I woke up with Papi and I helped them do the laundry. I was taking off the laundry from here and then I was putting it in the dryer. And he was just so like
proud of himself.
He's so happy. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. You are such a great helper. We always love when you help. So again, like giving them back those words of affirmation, like reassuring them like what you're doing, that's great. And I think with him, I think that's like his main, like how he gives his love. And also he's very affectionate. So that has physical touch. So that has definitely woken that up a little bit in me, where it's coming out naturally for me. So that's why like I'm more now like this. Like, when he wakes up in the morning and then he's like laying next to me, he'll sit there and like hold my face and then give me a kiss on the forehead. But those are also things that we have done for him. So he's like doing that back. And I've realized I've been doing that with him, just naturally as his mother. And I'm happy that I'm showing him that physical touch, because again, that's something that's not natural for me.
Yeah.
But he has like opened up that love language for me to explore it. Because that's another thing too. I was like, I don't want to do it ingenuinely, it just feels like cringe. But with him, obviously, it just comes out so naturally, and I'm happy that it does, because I know even a lot of like parents that still doesn't come out for them. So that was one little worry that I did have actually while I was pregnant with him. But like, I think I was doing it while he was still in the womb, like playing music for him, talking to him, reading books. So I think from there I started it from like the womb.
Yeah.
So it has slowly progressed in the right direction. And I even saw a video the other day. There was like this dad. Have you seen it? He was like massaging the daughter's in the mirror, and he's like behind her, and he's like they said like the kids, they like that is like their main like love language. Like most kids, I guess, like that physical touch from that young age, because then that's how it develops into adulthood. And I was like, clearly, we didn't get that.
We did
so
not.
I was like, all right, let me test it out and see if it does make a difference for Caleb. But the way that he was just sitting there like massaging her face, and the little girl, she was just like so relaxed, and I was like, I want to find the video and repost it.
Yeah, repost it
because at one point he was like doing it very like aggressively, but I was just like, the little girl, like she just looked like she was just like basking in all her freaking glory. So, and I didn't go read into the caption of exactly what he said. And at first I thought it was the mother doing that, but then when I saw it was the dad, I was like, okay, that's different. That's nice to see, and again, so like empowering.
Yeah.
Like you're giving this to your daughter, and again, it just trickles into her life values.
Speaking of dads, there's this dad on TikTok. This man blew up. I mean, he's a looker. He's not horrible to look at.
Is that the one that does like all the crazy setups like for his kids?
No, so it's a single dad of 5, I think, or something.
Oh no. Okay.
Or he has kids. He got like 3 to 5 kids. I forget which one. But he has an older girl and 2 young. He's a dad of 4, single dad of 4, and he has a boy and 3 girls. And the mom just dipped. Like, and people ask, they're like, oh, what about the mom? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he does, but he has like a nice aesthetically pleasing house, like, just very nice. And he always shows like he cooks with the kids, does the girls' hair, and he does as much as he can, but obviously he does this for TikTok because that's a part of his business. But it's just so wild. Like he like the brushing of the hair, the pajamas, like everything, bath time, all that stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's what you're dealt with, but you could tell acts of service for him to his kids. That's his main love language. Yeah. And one of the girls spends a lot of time with him. And I feel like she just needs that a little more, because she's like kind of like in the middle. But like when he cooks with her, he explains to her, and like you could just see it's just such a beautiful bond. I'm like,
and it's probably come so natural to him too, because like some guys out here, like for instance, like that reminds me of my dad. Like it just comes so like natural to him, like that nurturing.
Yeah,
like,
my dad too.
Mother goose.
Yeah,
so like
my dad too. Like when we were young. Fun little story. When we were younger, so my middle sister and I are 7 years apart. So there was a big age gap between us, and
to like an only child for
7 years. Yeah. Wow. And my dad would come home, and even after Malik was born, we had this little ritual every Thursday. My dad would get paid, and he would come home and tell me to get ready, or like I had to be ready. And we would go to Mill Creek Mall, and we would have a gyro. That's our thing, and walk around the mall. And then once a month, he would buy me new sneakers. Aww. And that's why I have a shopping problem. but
thanks, Dad.
Yeah, thanks. No, my mom is the shopping problem, because this lady was like, I'm depressed. Want to go shopping? And I'm like, sure.
Say less. So what about your kiddos?
Oh, we're going to be here for a minute because I got 3, and they're all 3 different personalities. So let's start with Oliver. Oliver, for sure, it is the giving of the gifts. He needs gifts. He thinks Christmas is every single day. And he is like our little note keeper and our little rat, because he's like, Alina's not behaving. I'm going to tell Tommy to tell Santa that she is not behaving. And
I'm serious.
I'm like, sir, you're not behaving. Like, come down here. Quality time, for sure. We do a lot of reading together, especially now that he's learning how to read. And he tells me, Mommy, can you come play with me? Can you come read with me? Can you come to my room? Like,
I love that he asks.
He always asks.
Yeah,
and like if he sees me sitting there, whatever, and he's like, Mommy, can you come to my room and hang out with me? And I'm like, sure. So then I go and I just do whatever he wants to do. And then he'll be like, remember, you told me Legos, let's do the puzzle, let's do this. He is a word of affirmation addict. Like and it's all three. So he needs to, like, when I tell him, oh my God, Oliver, like, you are so handsome. Oh my God, you did such a good job. And he's like, Oliver's a handsome boy who does such a good job. And I'm like, you are so right. Acts of service, like, I mean, at this point, because I'm pretty much their slave, they just assume that I just do everything for them. So they're like, oh, mother, my butler, come do this. So
my glass is empty.
Yeah. But when I do get them their favorite snack because I know it ran out, they get so happy. And Ollie, with his particular eating, like, he has, sometimes all he wants is grilled cheese. All he wants is pancakes. And he needs them to be fresh pancakes that I make. The grilled cheese, how I make it. Eggs, how I make it. And I'm like, that's fine by me, kid. Physical touch, he's okay. He asked me to rub his back a lot. So, mommy, can you scratch my back? And then every morning when I do his hair, like, I wash his face, we brush I'm like, okay, let's brush our teeth. And then I always do a scalp massage for him. That's just a habit because of all his curls. Yeah. So I'm always like this, and he goes, that feels good. Elena, definitely words of affirmation, especially with her diagnosis of autism. That positive reinforcement has to always be there. So I'm always like, oh my God, Elena, yes, you can do it. Like, she does a lot of attention-seeking behavior, and instead of me physically doing the things for her, I just encourage her, and I'm like, yes, you can do it. You can. And she's crying and screaming, but me just saying, yes, you can do it. I know you can do it. Yeah. Eventually and it's also a technique that they use at the ABA Center because it's attention-seeking tendencies and behavior that she does when she says she can't do it because she just wants the attention. Right. So when I say no, I try to do it in a way that I'm like, I'm not going to help you, not like that. I'm just like, no, but you can do it. I know you can do it. Why do you need my help when you can do it? So there's that.
And it's crazy, just like the little shift of just being like, no. Yeah. So empowering her, like, you got this. I know it's a challenge right now, but if you try, you could do it. Yeah. You could do it.
She is not a quality time person. I feel like she decides when she wants to spend quality time with you. Because she is just very independent. She's solo like me. Like, I just feel like she has just so much going on. So that little piece of quiet she gets, she likes to really maximize on it. Within her 10. Yeah, she's like, I'm good. Like, leave me alone.
I need my own time.
Yeah.
She needs quality time with herself.
Yeah. She is not a physical touch person. She does not like to be touched. She needs to touch you. You can't touch her.
Got it.
She'll literally like it's insane. But I'm like, that's fine. Does not care for gifts. Does not care for gifts.
Money saver.
I mean, when we buy her presents, she's like, thanks, whatever. Like, okay, thanks for other shit.
That's how I felt like when I brought her like her birthday gift.
I told you.
It was just kind of like, okay,
thanks. Yeah. And I'm like, Elena, say thank you. And then she walks away. And I'm like, okay. Acts of service.
Zoe's probably gonna be like, I'm gonna enjoy all this shit.
Yeah, seriously. Acts of service, yes. If I give her juice, yogurt, anything, like when
she's a foodie.
Oh my God. She's like, thank you, mommy. Thank you, mommy. I love you. And I'm like, okay. So she likes that. My señorita. My little Zozobi. Words of affirmation in English and in Espanol.
I love it.
She needs to have both. She needs to. Quality time. If she could crawl back into my body and be with me 24/7, she would. She just loves it. She loves to be with people. She is a physical touch person. Berto sits like a specific spot on the couch, and she knows she's crawling up on his body and sitting right where she wants to sit. And she always comes to me, hug. She wants to give me a kiss. I'm like, oh my God. Gifts. She's too young to really notice gifts, but she'll play with whatever. But she doesn't realize that it's hers yet.
Right.
And then acts of service, like when I put her food down and she knows it's hers, or when I get her cheche, she knows. But yeah, like. Those are my kids, so I have a lot to work with here because they drive my ass crazy.
No, but I just love, and that's like the whole point of this too, when we're sharing our kids' love language, to be aware of them, because again, it'll save you from like that motherhood fucking meltdown.
Yeah.
Oh, why like, what's going on? You're like, and then you can kind of use their love languages as a reference.
Yeah.
Because that's like that kind of happened this morning, like with Caleb. All of a sudden, like we go downstairs. That's his thing. He needs to go downstairs right away in the morning. We go downstairs and he's like, ask for the TV to be turned on. But then I don't know, honestly, what transpired, because this kid, she was fucking crying. And then I was just like, and then I was asking him things and he didn't care. So I was like, all right, I'm going to just stop asking. I sat on the couch and I was like, I'm here if you want a hug.
Yeah.
And then eventually he comes.
Yeah.
And is sitting on my lap, still crying.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was like, okay, I have to finish folding the stuff. And I was like, we got to get ready to go. But through that, again, I was like, all right, physical touch. So I'm just there. Like, I was even like, and I give him a kiss on the forehead. Yeah. I was like, I'm trying to help you. I don't know what you need. And sometimes it gets frustrating because he is verbal, but then you're sitting there whining. I'm like, please tell me.
He can't find his words.
Yeah. I was like, please use your words. And even though I try to provide some words for him, and then I realized like the more I ask him, the worse it gets. But then eventually, I don't know what happened. I think I stepped away. So I showed him a little affection, stepped away. And then he found the remote, and then he was just sitting there like, click, because that's another thing I've been trying to teach him, again, that independence. I was like, this is how you turn it on, and this is how you click through. And I was like, this is YouTube or whatever. So then I saw him, he was clicking through, and I was like, he finally got it. Because at first he would just hold on the arrow, and it was, and he was like,
yeah. He's like, you make it look so easy.
I know. And then eventually I come back to his area, and I'm like, I'm just watching him. I'm like, and he looked at me, he was like, I did it. I did it. He still wasn't even going to click the circles of the actual video. And I was like, wow, you did it. And I was just like, good job. Again, the words of affirmation. I don't even know if I said that words of affirmation or his love language. But again, through those incidents and those tantrums and those breakdowns and meltdowns, like, you learn. So this morning I learned, I was like, okay, what helped them snap out of it was that he felt empowered, that he did it on his own.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't 100% there, but he got it. I was like, you see, I told you could do it.
Yeah, and I feel like kids, they just need that little reassurance, and like, we're here.
Yes.
We're not going anywhere. We're not going to leave. Like, we're here. Like, Elena today had a whole meltdown because she wanted me to put her socks on. And I was like, no. Like, Zoe at this point puts her own socks on. She puts her own socks on. Now she's trying to put her shoes on. Like, she's ready to go to these streets. I'm like, yeah. But she got really frustrated. And I'm like, no. At first, I was getting really upset because the mornings is just a lot.
No, you're just trying to get the fuck out the door.
And I was like, oh, you want to wear your Crocs today? Great. This is the compromise. You want to wear your Crocs? You have to put your socks on yourself. And she's like, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. And I'm like, you can do it. I know you can. No, mommy. And I was like, first of all, take them out. I was like, you got two. And I put it down. And I was just like showing her, I'm like, this is how you do your socks. Look, this is how you do it. And when I saw her get to the point in the back, I was like, just pull it a little bit. And she did. And I was like, oh my God, you did it. And she was like, I did. And I'm like, you did. Now put on your Crocs. And I was like, now the next one, another 15 minutes. But we got there.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to break down. I was like, I still have lunches to make. I still have bags to pack. Cheche to put inside the bottle. I was like, you're going to figure it out yourself. And she did it, put on her Crocs and then her coat, and the rest is history. And now we're waiting for them to get out of school.
But it's that, again, those daily moments that you can literally sit there, and then at the same time, you just empowered them. You empowered yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, I did that.
Yeah,
I did
like,
not.
And I'm like, that is one less thing that I need to do.
Right.
But also, I was just kind of like, I'm not going to see my kids till Monday because I'm going to the Poconos, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Your
quality time.
Hell yeah, quality time with my book, my wine, my boo, my friends, and food. Goddamn, like, I'm ready. I'm like, and I was like, so I have my wine and my Trulies. I got my little spicy book. You guys will get an email, by the way.
Yes, book club.
Book club. Fourth Wing was very, 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 very lengthy. She was a thick book.
Yeah, I'm doing the audio.
Yeah, so I finished Iron Flame.
Nice.
The spice, baby. So I can't wait. We're gonna send out a date so that we can chat about it and talk a little more about the book club, and then the book club, the new, what's it called? The new book. But yes. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for listening.
And post your love languages in the comments. We will post this obviously when it airs, but we want to hear about your love languages, what they are. We'll probably put it on stories, and we'll do comment.
Yes. And we'll also do the poll for the guys.
Yeah.
Or what do you think your guy or partner's love language is?
Yeah.
And as always, Thank you. This is sponsored by the Migas. Like, subscribe, share. Please subscribe. We're trying to our goal. Let's make it to 100 subscribers.
Yes.
We could do it by the end of this month.
Yes.
Let's 100 subscribers. So please, tell your peoples. All you got to do is your Gmail, hit the subscribe button, and that's it. And also turn on your notifications so you know when we post.
Yep. All right. Well, bye-bye.